JoBlo.com. Hi, Kate. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. So I feel like a broken record after watching all of these Marvel Disney Plus shows that each one feels like it's breaking the formula and doing something different. So watching these first two episodes, it's unlike anything else in the MCU so far. So when you got involved with the project, were there any films or inspiration that you used to develop what this was going to look like?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think for me, I want it to be a big love letter to sci-fi. And for the TVA specifically, I would say like Metropolis, Brazil, Blade Runner, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the book. But I was really excited, I think, because I grew up around a lot of brutalist architecture. Like A Clockwork Orange was filmed very near where I live. And I just like the idea of bringing that into the TVA because, you have the timekeepers, they're very powerful. It kind of felt like this kind of godly, strong presence with that. But then with that, I really loved the idea of this kind of Midwest heroic kind of style, like, the Mad Men kind of leaning stuff. So I think for me, it was like blending those two ideas together, but also just working out how do you bring a place to life that exists outside of time and space? Because, it's not on a planet, there isn't a sun, and it's like almost like a Vegas kind of situation, there's like all the light is artificial. And like I looked at the comic books, they have these amazing images, obviously, of like rows of desks stretching off into infinity, which I'm sure fans can see in the show. We definitely took from that with like, the amazing expanse they look over in the trailer. And there's more spaces in the TVA which have that infinite feeling to them. But along with that, I was also inspired by just like my own life as an office temp. Like I remember that some of the computers that I would work on were really archaic and didn't always work great, but they wouldn't update them because they were like, why do we need to update them? And I thought it was really fun, the idea that the people at almost the top of the tree, they don't have the most up-to-date technology, which I thought was really cool. Like I like the idea that, some of this stuff probably does need updating, but it's like got this kind of retro futuristic Brazil quality to it. So it was fun kind of bringing that aspect to it. And then just realistic office things like, a coffee pot that hasn't been changed, but it's the TVA, so probably not for hundreds of years rather than like a year. So yeah, so I think for me, that was a big part of it. And then beyond that, just the emotion in the scripts, right? Like I think with good genre, if you're on board with the characters and you believe the circumstances they're in, then I'm kind of more likely to get on board with a kind of fantastical world setting. So that was very key to us.
And in making the story, this is longer than a film, shorter than more traditional TV series, but it looks so epic. Was there anything that you felt that was restrictive in only having six episodes that you had to cut out that maybe you wish was still included in the series?
No, I honestly, I think it was more for me like, it was less like feeling restricted. I think it was more just the challenge of it, right? Because keeping 6 hours of content in my head was a lot. And we were filming it not episode by episode. Like we were filming this like a film. So one day I'd be filming, I don't know, episode 5. And then the next day I'd be doing episode 3, or sometimes multiple episodes at the same time. So it was, I think, a lot of juggling in that sense. But no, I didn't feel strained. I was honestly just really excited to kind of, bring that kind of scale to the show and make it feel a bit different. Because I think our show is this really cool hybrid because, it's episodic, the story. So we were very aware of that. And we wanted to make it exciting week to week for people. And, people could meet at work and talk about the episode and what they liked and what they're thinking about where the story might be going. But at the same time, like Kevin Feige was like, I want these to feel like our movies. So that was the challenge really, was, yeah, like making sure we were bringing the scale of the films to the television show.
And with the nature of how this story is told, was this something that you went into it saying this is going to be a self-contained story over these six episodes, or was it always open-ended that there could be future seasons? Was there a way that you approached that?
No, I mean, my focus is on season 1, and I've always just really thought about this as a season, like that it's limit. Would you say limited, or like I feel like the story we've crafted is a very cool, complete story, and I'm really proud of it. So no, I've never really thought about it that way. I think, to be honest, like I've always just tried to tell the best story for our 6 episodes. So that's kind of how I've always thought about it, really.
And from us on the side where we're viewing these, and we know that they fit into the larger scheme of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe and with what is in store for us in Phase 4 and beyond, is there anything, obviously you can't tell me what's coming in the final 4 episodes that I haven't seen, but is there anything that you're really excited for audiences to see that maybe they're not expecting to be coming?
I suppose I would say, like, it's always a tricky one to answer, right? Because I do think there are definitely surprises along the way of our story, and it does have a big echo across the MCU, which is really exciting. But other than that, I would probably just say people have to watch, because I just don't want to spoil stuff for people, because I think there's something so nice, right, about watching something to week and being surprised. And we wanted to surprise people in places, so I don't want to ruin that.
Great. And final question, from the way that Loki is, because he's not the Loki that we've come to know. This is a variant of Loki. Was there anything challenging in trying to play him more as the villain that he started out as without all of the character development that happened in the later films?
I think really it was just me and Tom checking in with each other. You know what I mean? Because like in the first episode, he is so fresh from Avengers, and I think we spoke a lot about that film on set and kind of just making sure emotionally we were kind of sitting in that space, because he isn't the Loki from Infinity War that we last saw. He's in a very different emotional space. So I think that was just really me and Tom checking in with each other and just being like, okay, actually, let's go here. You know, there's the guy. That's what we're after. So, yeah.
Awesome. I mean, I love the show. The first 2 episodes were just, it was refreshing. I really enjoyed it. I laughed. And without reading anything leading into it, as soon as I watched it, I'm like, this is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy if it were directed by Terry Gilliam. So it was, I loved it very much. And I can't wait to see the final 4 episodes. So thank you so much.
No, thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Bye.